All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Arksmyth's quest, a Beyond the Fever Swamp adventure. Uh, and as an unfortunate announcement to begin, semester is heating up, and what I feared at the beginning may be coming to pass, that I won't have time to keep doing this. Updates may be sporadic in the future. We will keep you advised. So, for now, last session, our party went on, traveling through the mountains and the forests, and then the mountains again and the forests, in their attempt to make a small one-day journey into the mountains, kill some Ettins, and collect a reward. From there, they traveled to the tower of Archmage Gerhardt, keeper of the third eye, and met with a group of apprentice wizards who keep bothering him to learn spells because they heard that some famous guy that all of the rich people like this year did that, and so they want to do it too. Gerhardt is obviously furious about this. During the course of these adventures, however, Steinigen Kaldizer, the paladin of vengeance, was off doing other things.
I'm back.
He is back. So,
Oh, hey, I thought we had two dwarves.
Who the hell's that?
you split off from the party in order to track down a grudge that led you to the village of Clink. What kind of grudge were you tracking down for the book?
Like begrudging grudge.
Petty grudge?
He looked at my sister while his grandpa did.
It was a quite petty grudge. He is a human who had owed me some sum of money, and he paid it all back except for a copper.
It's okay, he's dead now.
All right. While you were in Clink, you heard a number of rumors. Apparently, an army of undead had attacked the village of Clink but been repelled. You know that you're on your way to a dwarf home that fell after being attacked by an army of the dead, and it was quite a mighty dwarf home. So the idea that this small village might have survived such a thing is strange to you. How do you react to this news?
How exactly did you survive that?
Well, group of adventurers came. They shot at it all day. One of them threw a couple of fireballs. And then they just withdrew into the swamp. A while later, the adventurers, I think they said that they awoke an ancient god, and then all of the undead just died, and there was this huge beacon of light. You must have seen it, but you didn't see it.
You were underground, being dwarf.
I'm a dwarf. I was likely underground at the time.
Makes sense.
Missed everything.
Anyway, a whole bunch of undead came from all over. If you want to check out where they were, I don't know, Swamp's pretty good at eating up corpses, but should be a few days on that away. We have a map if you'd like to buy one.
No, thank you. I think I won't be staying here that long. I have work to do elsewhere, but it's much appreciated.
Who would want to buy a map of a swamp?
All right, well, if you change your mind, come on back. Bunch of dwarves in that adventuring party. They seem to love the swamp.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. If I ever see them, I will ask them what is so wonderful about it. Good day to you.
Yep, you too. All right. So, this news of an army of the dead moving into the Fever Swamp and then being destroyed was definitely something that will be of interest to the people of the Galata Peaks. For now, you begin your long journey to meet up with the rest of the party. How much money do you have on you?
According to my sheet, not a single cent.
You've at least got a copper piece. You resolved your grudge, right?
I suppose I would have a single copper piece on my person.
All right, we'll figure you had enough money to stay in some inns. Please mark off 5 gold from the party pot.
Done.
You meet up with the party at the base of the at an inn near the base of the tower of the Archmage Gerhard. They've been waiting for you here, and likely have as much to share with you as you with them.
Steinigan, good to see you. You missed a hell of a fight.
Good to see you as well, Gambold, and it's unfortunate to hear that. But regale me.
Well, we went up into the mountains like they said, looking for those Ettins. They had a pair of freezing, ice-breathing wolves, winter wolves. They were gnawing on a dead horse. We tried to sneak up on them, but difficult to do with creatures like that. Big fight. Attracted the Ettins' attention. We took him down, though.
Excellent to hear. Apparently there were some goings on in the Fever Swamp, and Steinigan will pass on what he has learned.
Do you think that they were telling the truth about an army of undead? I mean, the swamp's always been filled with unnatural things.
Go ahead. Go ahead and roll. Sorry.
Go ahead and
finish. Go ahead and roll me a quick int check, by the way, as you relay this story.
All right. Just flat int.
Yep. All right. You do not put 2 and 2 together that the tales that you heard about coincide with your own ranger's trip to the Fever Swamp. As the orc points out that they got lost for several days in the woods. Please proceed.
I suppose it could have been hyperbole.
We fought some Gryphosaurs.
Griffins.
We fought some Griffins.
Yes, when we were lost in the woods. Not much to say about that. But we got part of what we came for, at least, with from the Archmage. He was not as welcoming as we might have hoped, but we traded some information. And more importantly, we made friends with these want-to-be wizards outside, and they had a water-breathing spell for Ulfgar.
That should be useful.
Did we also find vehicle?
I believe so.
That was on our. Remember we talked about that, but I don't remember.
What was it that he gave you for molesting your horse?
It was an expensive gemstone, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was a scroll of a different.
Oh, it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, it was a scroll of a different third level spell that Ulfgar does not already have.
Why were horses
I thought it was
being
a gem.
molested?
Because my horse is magic. And it was raised by a god in another plane, and the wizard wanted to cast divinations on it. and I traded
Right.
that for your. I traded that my horse's dignity for your magic spell. It better have been worth it. Also, we don't know this, but he actually used the divination to try and read the horse's mind to see what the horse had overheard about the Arksmyth, but our characters don't know that. But Gerhard's a dirty little cheater. But he's a wizard, so that's to be expected.
Right.
Can't trust a one.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why do you think the church was like, maybe you should take Saint Amelia with you before you meet the priest, or before you meet the Archmage? Like, he probably won't use this evil necromantic artifact, but you know wizards. No sense of right and wrong.
They said while talking to a wizard.
Oh yeah.
But I guess Lucas is a cartographer first.
They should have killed Lucas on the spot and said, "Best to be safe, guys." To the rest of us.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
We were just catching Steinigan up on what he missed.
I heard most of it, I just could not say anything.
Okay.
Good. Everything that we got wrong is still wrong.
Mm-hmm. But okay. So, Steinigan, our course remains. We're heading to Rankburn Castle, and we plan to try and hire a guide of some sort who can lead us through the Bull Mountains without having to rely on our +2 survival checks. But for
Sounds
now, we're heading to the castle.
To the castle.
Mm-hmm. So, how will you all be living over the course of what appears to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-day journey? Or
Oh yeah.
do you want to attempt to make the journey in a mere 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days by cutting through the forest?
That looks smart to me.
I mean,
And cheaper.
The
inns in the forest are really cheap.
well, let's see. If we went, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could avoid like mountainous areas. Could do that.
And we would be going through a lot of plains, which presumably are easier to navigate.
Yeah. Or we could go to 2 days north to this town, cut through 1 day of forest, and then follow the road. That minimizes the number of rolls and getting lost.
Yeah.
It does save you 3 days if you make your navigation successfully.
Yeah. So that's an option.
Ooh,
I like this
like-
compromise.
I do like the through the town and the forest idea.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it will.
If we make the check, which it's only 1 check we need to make, then, and we'll. I'm assuming that forest is easier than swamp, so we should have decent chances of that, and then it saves us 3 days. I think that's a pretty good compromise.
All right. How will you? What lifestyle will you purchase on your way to this town? North of the Archmage.
Yeah. How's the coffers looking, Ogle?
67 gold.
Where did all of the rest of our gold go?
I don't remember.
Good question.
I have no idea. I thought you had a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I thought we had like 500 minus 50 or something.
Yeah.
I think we traveled.
How
or
come the
something.
coffer has less gold than I have in my pockets?
Well,
That's
you
a problem.
spent some on transcribing spells, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got I had I think 3 for certain that I was gonna get, so that would be, what was that? 50 per, so 150 minus.
Only
Maybe
for all
we-
first level spells.
maybe we're not good at budgeting.
Hmm.
We
Well,
clearly
we-
are not.
We've
All
each
right.
got individual money except for Steineken. So
Hmm.
he can sleep outside, and the rest of us will buy a room in a tree. We're joking, Steineken. You can sleep in the basement.
So I think Ganbold is going to pay for poor lifestyle, but that's going to represent him buying food and then sleeping in his tent.
All right. Ganbold is interrupted in the night by the watch outside of town. Hey,
What?
who goes there?
Ganbold emerges from the tent, a large and intimidating and mostly unarmored and unclothed orc.
They draw swords, form a semicircle around you.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm just sleeping here.
No vagrancy. Get out of town, orc.
I'm probably also sleeping in a tent nearby. Do they just allow me to keep sleeping there because I'm beautiful?
They probably bother you too, but once it's an elf, it's like, oh yeah, it's an elf. Okay.
Alright.
But an orcish adventurer sleeping in a tent just outside the inn, it's a bit more of a cause for alarm for these watchmen.
Ganbold does not stand for this and goes and pokes on Ogle's tent. Hey, Ogle! They say we gotta
What?
move.
I'm going to be smart and set my tent up outside the town,
Here,
in a nearby forest.
let me talk to them. I don't know.
Hey, my friend wants to talk to you. And I shove the elf out in front.
Ugh.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Elf? Has the orc kidnapped you?
No, we're traveling together to. We're trying to, protect save the world. It's really
Right. You're trying to protect the save the what?
yeah. I was asleep. I'm asleep. He rubs his eyes for a minute. and looks
Can
at
you
these
afford
people.
the inn?
Oh, is that them asking me or you asking me?
That's them asking you.
Oh, okay. We're on a very long journey. We're having to ration our resources, and we'll be unable to complete our journey if we
stay at an inn every night.
So we will visit the local food sellers and other businesses in the area for those needs. But yeah, and then he's like, yeah, blurbling out a basic version of the plan of we're gonna buy food and sleep in tents.
You bought any food from Carrie's shop? You did.
Yeah. Yes.
Show me the wrapper.
Do they
I
have
burned
custom
it.
printed wrappers? Yeah, we didn't keep the trash. We disposed of it properly.
How'd you dispose of it?
Let's
Gamble
see.
points towards his fire pit.
Yeah. Which is carefully
Mhm.
cleaned up and all that shit.
All right.
There's
Well, check
probably
out your
some. There's
story.
probably some bones or whatever meat we were eating.
Apple bones.
But we don't want any orcish war camps camped out outside of town. You're making people nervous.
You need more
Farmers
than
are calling
one.
you to
One
watch.
orc is hardly a war camp.
Yeah, look at him.
Well,
Well, you're making people nervous. You don't have any real cause to be here, and you're not staying at the inn.
Tell him it's a multicultural peace camp. As I put my hand on the orc's shoulder.
we'll be leaving in the morning. Is that fine, or do I need to move my tent outside of town?
You'd best be moving on in the morning.
We plan to.
Good.
As long as our elf doesn't get us lost again.
He's an elf. I'm sure he'll get you where you need to be.
You would
Yes,
be
don't worry.
surprised.
I know these forests. I was a guide for a long
All right, and don't come back unless you can afford to stay in the inn.
We'll be sure not to, thank you.
Oh, don't worry. I'll tell all the other paying orcs to stay out of town.
Good. Better had.
What's the name of this stupid town?
Yeah. Please add the name of the stupid town to the map.
Old Schittsburg. Old garbage city.
Don't worry, Phil Sticker can later turn it into a swamp and not know why he feels so happy about it.
All right, this is the town of Elnook.
All right.
So, come morning, you begin to head out into the woods. And we'll be wanting a survival check.
Alright.
All right, Elf, show us the way.
I think it's over here.
Good.
It is.
I found the other hex!
You travel through the day and make good time into the woods. You're pretty sure you're heading off in the right direction. The woods here are sparse, and trails lead out towards open plains. There's some sort of meadow that you can see the forest breaks into here to the southeast. To the north, it breaks back into grazing land and more farming land.
You see this tree? We haven't walked past this tree before. That's how you know we're going in the right direction.
Looks like every other tree.
Oh, that's because you can't tell. No, it's a new tree.
Anyway, the day is clear when you wake up the next morning. The nice, refreshing, undisturbed night's sleep far from civilization. Where do you proceed from here?
Head north, right?
Yeah. Or we could go northeast again.
I do not trust our navigation to keep us to. It's not worth the risk of getting lost again.
It's
Save-
fine. The
save
hex
the
looks
day.
the same. I've already navigated one of these.
You know that's not how it works.
Oh,
The D20 was favorable this time, but next time, who knows?
All right. You do know that the farmers seem to be skeptical of your party of adventurers, with your orcs and your dwarves, and you're not even a human.
Yeah.
But I'm
Someone needed to
beautiful.
play a human bard or something to.
I won't kidnap your daughter this time.
but it's easy enough to head on north, travel through the day. So that is 1 day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do you plan to live on this trip?
Ganbold plans to do as he did before, but this time,
That apparently is not set to GM roll.
it's supposed to be set to GM roll. It was set to GM roll.
Fucked it up.
I'm currently logged in as a GM. That is something I should fix. But let me see. The macro looks like it says GM roll.
Weird.
I wonder if it's a problem because there are 2 GMs right now, maybe? It's a problem.
Possible.
Alright, I will rejoin as player.
Best had.
I keep forgetting to do that because it doesn't remember that choice. Okay, I'm logged in as a player now. Huh. Nope.
Well, let me see if I can get it working.
Yeah. See.
All right, so it's Empre dash. There we go. Well, we'll go with the dog. So, you guys are wandering, setting up camp, and in the night, as you're beginning to eat, a dog wanders into your camp. It seems to be a border collie. It has a silver collar. You can't quite read the name tag yet. The dog whines at you as you eat.
Hey guys, dinner just showed up.
Nah. Dogs aren't for eating.
Yeah, dogs are for rewards.
Ah, good point.
That's silver. That's a good money dog.
It's a border collie. People use them to herd their animals. It's a working dog. Probably trained if they gave it a nice collar. Come here, boy. Gamble will
Roll
give it
animal handling.
I am proficient in that,
Oh shit.
but I'm
All
also
right,
not good at it.
The dog comes up to you and jumps up on you and licks your face and nuzzles into you warmly and seems to be immediately in love with this orc.
Ganbold laughs and enjoys the feeding the dog the dinner scraps. He probably belongs to someone around here.
Well, does his tag have
Hey, Ulfgar.
anything on it?
Yeah,
Do you have the mending cantrip?
I do not.
Prestidigitation?
Yes.
Can you maybe clean up this name tag and see if we can read it?
Yeah, certainly. I do that thing.
All right. The name tag reads George.
Is your name George, boy?
The dog barks affirmatively,
Hmm.
pants and wags its tail.
Well, George, I guess you can come with us, and if we pass by your house, you'll recognize it.
George barks again twice and howls, taking a few steps away from the camp.
Hmm.
I don't understand what that means at all.
It perhaps wants us to follow it?
I think so. Sanael, come here. Ganbol's gonna hop on his horse, and he's gonna follow the dog.
Yeah, okay.
Lead on,
let's
George.
follow the-
All right, George barks in the affirmative and starts to walk quickly over the plains. There's still the occasional odd tree here, some tall grass, but it's not too far. Maybe half an hour, and you arrive at a burned out ruin. Seems to have been a small farmhouse.
Recently burned.
Roll investigation.
All of us?
Anyone who would like to investigate the farmhouse.
Well, I'm terrible at this, but I got a 10.
Where is that button? There it is.
Well, some of this seems to be washed out, but you know that ash won't survive too long out on its own. And these remains, it doesn't look like it's all been picked through. You can't be sure how long it's been, but you don't think it's been more than a year.
Is there any sign that this was an attack, or is this an unfortunate accident? I have a 4, so you don't have to tell me anything.
It's unclear. You don't see any arrows sticking out of stones, but you would imagine that arrows might have been consumed in any fire if that had come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
You are right on the edge of a wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what may live inside?
Mm-hmm.
The dog whines and seems to wander around, with its tail stuck between its legs.
All right. If it, Steinigan will just sort of follow along, pull out his shovel, and his pick, and get to work, sort of digging around if the dog points to anything or otherwise doesn't really object. See if there is anything notable to be found here.
All right.
I'll let you resolve that first, then I have something to try.
Okay. So, looking around in some detail, you can find a few items here and there. Some iron mess kits. Evidence that the house, must have had. It must not have been too small of a house. You're looking at a couple of rooms. You do find a body. It seems to be a skeleton reduced mostly to ash, off on its own. But you only find the one body. Looking around the size of the fields, it would seem that there are still sheep in the distance, looking confused in a paddock. You suspect it's possible there might have been more people who lived here.
I'm back.
Alright.
I don't expect
Probably
this to
a
reveal anything, but it might surprise us. Ganbold walks into the center of the ruined the ruined structure, and casts detect magic, and just walks around the areas trying to sense if there's anything unusual about.
Doesn't seem as though there's any signs of any magic.
Alright. This structure was entirely wooden.
No, it seems to have had been stone to about a meter high, and then wooden, and then thatch, most likely.
Right. Can I investigate the stone with stone cunning? And
Of course. You do find a cellar. It seems to still be reasonably well stocked. You should be able to pull together a good 10 or 15 rations from this. 15 rations, probably. Well, maybe make a survival check to see how many rations.
I get quite a few uses of this and tend to forget about it as well. So I'm also going to open my divine sense, and just see if I can detect any presence of supernatural activity, spirits or demons or anything like that.
You return yes.
Oh. Gandalf draws his warhammer and he readies his shield.
Nothing seems to happen after a few minutes.
Gandalf relays the information that there is divine sense does tell me the type: celestial, fiend, undead.
You suspect there is undead.
Okay. I sense undead near. Very close.
Like a ghost?
Could be. Spirit. Some kind. Did we find, like, bones among the ash?
Just the one set.
I poke it.
You poke the bones. That does seem to elicit something of a reaction. You feel a chill down your spine.
We should perhaps give that a proper burial or some other rite.
Shame we don't have a shaman with us.
Well, we've got several paladins. It's.
All right. George comes up as you begin to move the body. He whines and whimpers, but won't quite approach, but won't back away either.
So, Steinigan, what do you know about how humans lay their dead?
All I know is that in most human cultures, they bury them. At least that's what I've heard.
That sounds like a lot of
that's-
work.
Beneath, it's only a few feet of dirt.
Yes, they're very shallow graves, especially compared to the dwarves. But I suppose when they don't live underground, they don't understand the value of a good deep grave. Nevertheless, I will get to work digging something out so that we can lay this one to rest.
Alright. If you get tired, I'll take a turn.
Okay.
I'm a dwarf, sir.
I know, you got such short limbs. It's amazing you get anything done.
It's coming on into the night. Soon the sun will go down. You had been setting up camp before. Do you intend to stay here for the night?
I mean, if we left, we wouldn't get to meet the ghost encounter.
Yeah, that is true.
Or whatever encounter.
Let's try and get this grave finished before nightfall.
Right.
If not, I feel we may have a visitor.
Okay. Should I roll athletics to dig like a mad dwarf?
Nah, you're not going to be able to dig fast enough to get a grave done before sundown.
You say that, but I have an 11 in athletics.
It still doesn't let you do the physically impossible.
Well, do we have
I-
some stupid combination of magic and dwarves that we can use? Such as I shatter the ground?
I do have both a shovel and a pick, so someone could certainly help me dig.
Well, Ganbold would help then. I didn't realize we had multiple implements.
All right, sure. Go ahead and make your athletics check. If you do manage to get really high, I will give you advantage on a check to talk to the ghost.
Alternatively, can a casting of shatter give them some advantage on the digging?
That was
Probably.
not really high.
Yeah, you could have gotten like 30 there.
Mm-hmm.
I could
21's
have.
not bad though, if you had advantage.
So you're still digging when a ghostly light seems to move between the stonework of the ruined house. The ghost of a man emerges with a long white beard, dressed in farmer's clothes, but carrying an arming pike and wearing a tabard over top. You suspect he might have been a veteran of a now long past war. He seems to eye Ganbolt with suspicion and holds the pike towards him. Who disturbs my home?
I am Ganbold, orcish warrior of Rumsh, and I have found your dog. I wished to bring him home, and found it in this state. I assume these are your bones we are laying to rest.
He seems to look at the bones, not quite understanding. Go ahead and make me a, I guess, persuasion check. To
I'm
convince him
good at
that
that.
you mean well. All right. Strange
You are
days.
incredibly good at that.
So he was a
Strange
paladin.
days when orcish travelers stopped to bury human farmers. It's your business in the Empire.
We seek to go around the forest and enter the Bull Mountains. We have a quest there to slay a great evil.
Adventurers. George is my dog, and he's a very good boy. George whimpers and whines, and his tail wags. But I don't think he brought you here to find me. I didn't live alone in this house. I had 2 sons, 11 and 13. They should be around somewhere in the woods, maybe towards the town. Find them for me, Orc. Find them and bring them to Terfeld. My brother will reward you.
Ganbold looks to the others.
Terfell.
It is out of our way, and searching the forest would add more time.
Would they come to us if we called? Do they have a song they like or something?
What are the boys' names?
Harry and Larry.
Mm.
And they'll come if you call. They're good boys. Well, maybe you don't call. Maybe you have the elf call. But
Mm.
they're probably lost, hungry.
Two boys lost in the woods sounds like we should help them.
Yes,
Ganbold looks to the others.
it's important work.
I agree to this. Seems like a good thing to do.
If there was a timetable for our other quest, I would not, but He looks to the ghost, and like the ghost isn't going to tell her secrets. The aboleth will still be there in a few more days. So will the necromancers.
Like, Aboleth, forget about my sons.
Okay, ghost. We'll try and find your boys.
Thank you. They'll visit me, I'm sure, and I'll know they're safe. It's what I need to see before I can go and be judged.
May the gods watch over you.
But not too closely. Safe travels, Orc.
And you as well. Ganwell returns to digging the grave.
All right. You managed to get the grave dug in time to get a decent night's sleep, at least. Come morning, you'll have to figure out where exactly you want to go. Fortunately, George knows these woods and the boys. He will provide you advantage on a survival check to attempt to track them.
Thank goodness. Go on, George.
Well,
Help us find Harry and Larry.
we'll do our marches through, let's see, I guess the hex directly south, southwest of us.
Yeah, southwest.
Okay,
Oh,
why
southeast?
don't you start with the roll? Because there's a correct direction, and there are clues that a survival expert might use to spot it.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I'll roll.
Yes.
Yes. Ogle proceeds to go on his way, singing a haunting elf tune that always seems to draw children, so that they can be taken, into the woods and done to whatever elves do to children.
I think
It's
you're
a
confusing
surefire way to
elves
find
with fairies.
kids. We're the same thing.
I mean, you are fae, but I mean, not really. With
All right, 13.
Well, 13 isn't bad. Looking around, you can see that there's some sign here that the grass around the outside looks relatively undisturbed, and that judging by the look of the trees, you imagine that it was raining pretty heavily. The woods must have seemed the way to go. Approaching the woods, you can see that the area here, there's some rough country to it, but there's a fairly easy entrance leading relatively flatly with a slight bit of downhill heading towards the southwest or southeast. You follow it for a little while, and you spot signs of travel through the woods. Some broken branches. Some places where they'd stopped by the side of the lack of road. A few things here and there that the dog helps you locate. But by nightfall, you haven't made any sign of them yet. You know they're in the area.
Well, we can always. No, we
should
don't
make
want
a-
to leave them waiting.
We should, as we make our campfire, we should make a large campfire tonight.
Yes, in
it's
the
possible
openest space we can find.
Yes, and Ogle, you play music, yes?
Yeah, I'll Song of Rest all night.
Yeah. Hopefully that will. If they're in the area, they may see us and come to us.
All right. That's actually a pretty solid plan. You give them some perception checks. All right. At the edge of the firelight, you do see a pair of young boys looking a little bit weather-beaten and worn. You think they might have been lost in the woods for some days, at least. The dog spots them as well and goes charging at them, barking, tail wagging, and leaping into the taller boy's arms. They seem a little bit weirded out by your party with an orc, 2 dwarves, and the world's creepiest elf.
Fear not. Come, join us.
Aha, I knew that would bring them in.
Persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Yes, or charisma if you don't have that.
I have persuasion. I'm quite good at it, except when I roll terribly.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, a 12's not terrible.
I think
The kids seem very grateful, come rushing in. You're able to share some of the supplies you gathered with them.
I think persuasion is the positive version of survival for our party. Everybody's got a 6.
I offered them to clean them with prestidigitation if they'd like.
Whoa, magic! They agree quickly.
And I clean both of them. I
They
assume
seem
they're dirty. I mean, it just seems like...
Very dirty, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do they have any?
Are they hurt?
Are they hurt at all?
Nothing serious. A couple of scrapes.
All right.
One of them's
Gamble.
carrying a short sword.
Gamble puts his hands on each of the boys' shoulders and said, "You did very well to survive this long on your own, and the gods are clearly with you." And I'm going to lay of hands 5 points of HP divided up between them.
All right. That deals with what minor scrapes and injuries they have. The boys tell you a story about how they tracked down and killed a pig that was lost in the woods, that escaped from the farm. It's an interesting adventure, but they're glad someone's found them and ask you if you'll take them back to see their family. They asked if their father sent you.
In a manner of speaking, you have an uncle in Terfeld. It was an uncle, right?
It was an uncle.
Yeah. You have an uncle in Terfeld. We've been asked to take you there.
The two of them seem to think that's okay, but the younger one asks, when is Dad waiting for us there?
No.
The song becomes sad.
We will be taking you back to the farm first. Your father wants to see you one last time.
We met some elves and dwarves and stuff, and they took us to meet our dead dad. Yeah, that's always how it goes.
All right, so the plan is to take the two of them back to meet the ghost.
I mean, that's explicitly what he asked, isn't it?
He asked to. He said they would visit the grave, and he would know, and that he would no longer need to manifest as a ghost.
He seemed to think that they would make a trip with their uncle, but if you guys want to do it this way, okay.
It's more tragic this way.
I'm. You're probably right, but like. I don't
So
know.
the trick now
They-
is that when we take
they-
them to their uncle, we tell him that he also has to make the trip.
Separately.
But I mean,
we should
it-
just be as fey as possible about this.
I mean, they don't. Having them, know where the grave is kind of important for them to be able to visit it. Just in
Well, you
general.
buried him in the house, right? They know where the house is. We're near the house.
Yeah, we buried him next to the house. So.
That's fair. All right. Well, we could do it your way.
Either way is fine by me. I just think it's a little bit of an interesting approach. Here, let me show you his body.
Yeah. No. We're weird fairies. They have to see their father, but we can't come to the grave. We like to hide where they can't see us while they're looking at the grave. And then every time they like get near town, nobody can see us again, and we hide again. And you have to bring the reward
We're
back
not
from your
playing
uncle.
fairy tale right
Just
now.
gonna gaslight the poor children.
If you don't bring back the money from your uncle, then he'll disappear. You'll wake back up in the woods.
How old are they?
11 and
What,
13.
11 and 13?
Oh, yeah. They're old enough to deal with the pain, the misery of life and death. Let's take them to the grave and then to their uncle.
Okay. It does add a day to your trip to take them to the grave first.
We are honorable folk. We have two paladins among us. We don't mind doing the quote unquote right thing.
Eventually, we'll get around to that thing we're supposed to.
It's not like the fate of the world is resting on our shoulders or anything.
No, just an important commercial venture.
Yeah, so it genuinely isn't like that. For once.
Yeah. Okay.
You're like what, 6th level adventurers? Come on.
They should do more open world games that way, so you don't get that dissonance where you have to save the world, but you want to run around like catching butterflies or whatever, where the main quest is just something that's not very important in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
There are games that like that exist, but yeah, a lot of the I wouldn't mind like some AAA, big RPGs. If they weren't all shit now.
What they could do is have you have this big open world thing and then hide the main plot somewhere that you eventually visit. So you have all the time in the world to like do whatever, and then eventually you like knock over a gravestone
fall
or
into
something.
the
Yeah. So instead of front loading the hook for the main save the world quest, you put the start of the main save the world quest in like a random ass dungeon on the northeast side of the map.
And then all of the game reviews say that this game has no story.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, it's like real life. The opportunity is hidden somewhere very specific where you can't find it, and there's just nothing anywhere for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
on
mean,
that
you
depressing
can
note, let's
telegraph
return
it
to
a
something
little
a little bit lighter and see these kids crying over their father's grave.
Yes.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
There he is. Put him in that hole.
We already put him in the hole.
That's where you sleep when you die.
All right. They take some time. They gather some holly. They start to make an oval around the grave site. Seems to be a local tradition, maybe even a family one. You could ask them about it if you want to, but they don't seem inclined to share too much. They seem to want to take the time together to look over what's left and make sense of what happened.
Yanbold resists his temptation to ask them a lot of questions about human death rituals and what the farmers of this part of the empire believe about the afterlife and their gods. He resists his temptation to ask all of these questions, and instead remains quiet and allows them to have their moment of their moment of peace.
It's really hard to say. It's not something you've seen in other parts of the empire. It could just be a local tradition. They've got holly. It looks decorative. It could be that before Primus, the people of Primus came and conquered these lands, the humans of this region had a different faith, and that certain aspects of it have stuck with their practice and tradition. whatever it may be, it doesn't seem to take them more than an hour, and they tell you that they're ready to start the walk.
And we ride for Terfeld.
All right, yep. Looks like 3 more days to Terfeld. How are you living on this trip? Are you going to have the kids stay with you in your hobo camp?
Yeah! This is what it's like to be an adventurer, kids.
It's primarily sitting around bored and listening to the elf sing.
Yeah.
Weeks of boredom, perpetrated by seconds of sheer terror.
I would hardly call it a hobo camp, though. I am a noble. I am well equipped, and I'm sure the rest of the party is decently equipped as well.
All right.
It
Obviously,
looks like we had to go by a river. Ganbol goes fishing with the boys one day when we make camp, because I brought fishing tackle.
Aw. All right. Well, for the other night that you're not in the town or doing anything, I'm going to ask for one of you to make a persuasion check when the guards come and check up on you and ask what you're doing with those human boys.
Make a save against racism. Or against...
Shall I speak?
Someone, not me.
You go for it, Steinigan. They're more likely to listen to a dwarf than an elf. Or an orc.
Or an orc. Yeah. Alright.
Oh wait, that was you double clicked. Your first roll was a 12. Okay.
All right, that was almost really funny.
Got some kill drag vibes going on here.
+6 to charisma. Can't roll above a 6.
All right. They seem to accept your story that you found these boys and you're bringing them to family, especially with the boys backing you up. They say that it's mighty good of you, and thank you for being one of the good orcs, for allowing you on your way. Fishing is wonderful. The boys seem to have no idea how it works. But, after the time they've had a chance to just relax and cut loose, it doesn't matter if they catch anything, or if you do. It's just nice to take some time.
Nobody who goes fishing with a rod ever actually expects to catch anything. That's just a fact. It's not for the catching.
Although, if we do catch anything, Ganbold will show the boys how to prepare and roast a fish on a fire.
Excellent. Well, that they
Important
do
skill.
seem to know. Their farm had livestock, and they seem to be familiar with the notion of butchery. Although they do ask you how you pluck scales.
Ganbold shows them how to scale a fish with his knife.
Seems a lot easier than plucking.
On back.
Anyway, going through Terfeld, you come to a large inn. The boys rush inside, and the innkeep asks, "Oh, what are you doing here with these strange adventurers? Who's your father?" They kind of go quiet. And the innkeep looks to you.
Their father will not be joining them.
Did you have something to do with that?
We all float away
If-
unaccustomed.
Hey, if we did, would we come here?
Hard to say.
We found the thanks to George, we found the farm after it had been destroyed. It's unfortunate, but we did our best to do proper human last rites.
The dog has always been a very good boy. I suppose that I owe you thanks then. Probably a reward. You can spend the night at the very least. Let me look through the coffers today, and we'll see what you can find. You know what? You can have anything we take in tonight as your reward.
Thank you.
Very much
Fantastic.
appreciated.
That'll at least make up for us going out of our way. But we are happy to help.
He nods. So, with the boys now settled, the obvious question becomes, for any adventurer, how are you going to maximize the inn's profit on the night that you get to keep the inn's take?
I'm gonna be doing some fucking performances. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
However much I can use prestidigitation, I am going to use it to make lovely smells,
Do
make
you
the
have?
food taste amazing, and fireworks.
Yeah.
All right, I will give Ogle advantage on his performance check from your magic.
Right.
Yeah. Do you also know minor illusion? Could we cooperate to make the most
Sadly-
magical show ever?
Sadly, no, I don't know minor illusion.
What's wrong with you?
I'm a monster.
Steinigan will perform feats of incredible might, being that he is incredibly mighty.
For part of the evening, Ganbold stations his magical horse in front of the tavern. And
We throw the ice wolf pelt in the air and minor illusion it into looking like the ice wolf. And Ganbold pretends to like run it through with his weapon.
All right,
Things like
so the
that.
family tries to enjoy a quiet night, and will you put on the greatest circus in the history of Turfeld? Let's get that performance roll with advantage from Ogle, an athletics check, and I'm guessing an animal handling check.
all right.
SS a 23.
Ganbold falls
You
off his
shit.
horse.
And Ganbold
Alright.
was thrown to the ground by his mighty sword.
Make me a deception or performance check, Ganbold.
Deception or performance?
Yes.
They are the same, so obviously I lie.
All right. Ganbold does an excellent job convincing people that he is in fact an orcish clown. The applause come in really well as the horseplay continues. The performance is fantastic, and the strongman act very convincing. Although people ask, why it is you don't use strongman techniques, you just lift things. No ripping a spell book in half, nothing like that.
Hey, leave my spellbook alone.
Spellbooks are expensive.
Spellbooks are quite expensive. Nevertheless, I hardly need to use the fancy techniques. After all, unlike some so-called strong men, I actually am quite strong. And he will just lift up.
Snap!
He will just have like 2 full barrels over his head, one in each hand.
But by not doing any flashy strongman techniques, people actually find you boring for your genuineness. Oh wait, no, they don't. You got a success. He's the real deal.
All right, Turfeld is not too small of a town, and you're able to pull together quite the crowd. People keep coming into the inn to late in the night, and it's probably the biggest night that they've ever had. All told, you managed to collect 80 gold pieces.
Mark that down in the party coffer there, Boyd.
Alright. Gambold, do you think maybe we should give some of it back for the boys? Oh, no. You're right, it'd be ridiculous.
I'm glad that you could infer the face I was giving you through the internet without me having to say anything.
I'm looking right at you from miles and miles and miles and miles.
Yes.
All right. So come morning, you are prepared to make the trip to Rankburn Castle.
Huzzah!
Looks to be 6 days to the gap of Rankburn.
I think we can.
We stay in an inn every day.
That's good. No one troubles you when you stay at inns, demanding to know what's up with your orcish war camp.
Oh, you're right. We should stay outside.
No, we have gold now, so let's stay at the inns.
Okay.
So that's 6 days, times 4 people. Times how much is a stay at the inn?
Half a gold piece if you want to be on the cheaper end. 1 if you want to be on the nice end. And 2 if you want to have like a noble's room.
Yeah. We have some gold, but it's I still think paying 2 gold a day for the 4 of us to have poor accommodations is better than
All right.
at this point, unless Steinigan wants to demand a noble suite, in which case it's Steinigan.
We'll kill him.
Yes, but first we'll unmute his microphone.
Who?
If I need to, I will just pitch my tent in my room.
Well,
Okay.
It's a noble's tent.
It is a noble's tent. It is. If the accommodations are poor enough, then it probably is a better living space.
Yeah, we could shove you in a dirty broom closet and you'd still be having a better time than the rest of us.
all right. Caravans and crowds of people fill the streets and the fields around Rankburn Castle as you begin to approach. Odd music seems to fill the air, and a variety of mixed scents. Barkers shout out for you to try out various pies, as well as a variety of other strange dishes, like fried cheese on a stick.
Oh, it's the Rankburn County Fair.
It would seem to be a fair yes.
Gambold is intrigued by fried cheese on a stick.
Yes,
He
what is this
investigates.
cheese?
No, he knows what cheese is. Well, he probably doesn't know what he probably hasn't had
What
a
a
lot of
stick
cow
is.
cheese. Well, he's been traveling in inns. He's probably had cheese by now.
All right.
But
2
they
copper.
have different.
You can try some fried cheese on a stick.
Gambold definitely buys one.
Excellent choice, with or without maple.
Gambold buys 2, 1 of each.
All right. Both of them are fried fresh in the oil. They seem to be somewhat thin, coating the stick nicely. With a little bit of breading around the outside. On one, a little bit of some sort of a sauce is painted over it. It's glistens slightly. It smells good. The first tastes rich and cheesy. It's got a nice molten soft cheese sort of a flavor to it, sort of a rich undertone. The other is paired perfectly with its sweet outer crust. It gives a nice crunch and really is something that Gambold has never experienced on the plains before and uniquely human.
Gambold, returning to the party, his mouth filled with cheese, mumbles, This stuff is amazing. You gotta get with the maple. It's great. And he just shoves another huge bite into his mouth.
Maple is a tree.
It tastes delicious. Go get some.
LS Steinigan will also buy some because it's not like this is particularly expensive.
Nope.
Yes.
They offer you an autumn ale to go with it for another two copper. The ale seems to be a 2-pint mug.
That seems fair. It is probably awful watery human beer, but that's fine. He'll buy some ale to go with it.
It is definitely a fresh beer.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It is not a good thing. The impression that you get is that they're clearing that this beer only just finished fermenting and is not in any way aged, and that they're clearing out the casks to make more for the start aging.
Oh well. It was worth it for the cheese, and having something to wash it down is always good, even if it's kind of bleh.
After eating his fill with cheese, Ganbold is going to explore the fair. He's going to try and determine what event is being celebrated and what sort of events are going on.
All right, roll me persuasion to gather information. Excellent.
I'm amazing at this.
So this fair commemorates victory at the Battle of the Gap and the founding of the Rankburn dynasty. Knights come from all over Nilfenberg to compete in a series of competitions, including dueling and jousting, as well as a competition in speaking, and they're expected to participate in teams. Bard is expected to give a performance telling the best version of the tale of the founding of the Rankburn dynasty. And they are to be accompanied in whatever way seems fit to the given family. Of course, it's not open enrollment. You need to be sponsored by an elfin noble and compete on behalf of their house in the tournament. But there is a large cash prize. With that roll, though, you do hear a story that Sir Ulrich of Cornerstone apparently took an injury on his way here. There was a rock slide as he was passing through the gap, and his leg is broken. And now there is no one from Cornerstown to participate in the events.
Why, we're from Corners Town.
Guys, let's do the thing.
Huh?
We gotta get. We can. The nobles are going to need a new knight for their team. If we can win that large cash prize, the nobles don't care about the cash, but it'd be great boon for us. And I can beat it.
I am a noble.
You're not a Nilfin noble, but they might recognize your claim if you have you are a noble. And
Can't we just go talk to that one guy and pretend that we're from his town?
we don't have to pretend to be from his town. He just has to
We're
sponsor
totally
us.
from his town.
Have you looked at us?
I've lived there for 300 years.
Right. I do actually have. I have fine clothes and a signet ring, so I probably have some decent evidence that I am in fact a noble.
But you're not a Nilfin noble. You could try to, if you want to speak with Lord Rankburn and ask to be included, he would, of course, have audience with you. It may behoove you to prepare before such a meeting, however. For example, your bard does not actually know the tale of the founding of the Rankburn dynasty, a critical event
Who?
as far as the Rankburns are concerned.
Right then, I suppose that I guess I will try to roll persuasion to, or should it be insight or investigate history?
History could be helpful.
Are there any convenient stone carvings that I could take advantage of?
Probably not.
Read the whole castle.
Uh, my history is terrible, so I might actually just try to persuade someone to tell me. My
All
history
right.
is not actually terrible.
That's not going to be easy. All of the bards here who can tell the tale are planning to participate in the competition to tell the tale best. Don't want to tip their hand of what their performance for this year is going to be.
Very well, I will try history and hope that I do well. It's not terrible.
Wait.
It's just decent.
Do we have? If we know the story, do we have someone who could tell it with panache? I'm asking who actually has a good performance check.
Oh, yeah, I got one of those.
Oh shit, Ogle, you're amazing.
If I'm anything, I'm beautiful. And I have a lot of hit points. But mostly the one thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so never mind. I was going to say we could just, like, find a bard who doesn't have a sponsor. But, yes, no, we need to have Ogle be our bard.
Let's go talk to that guy who broke his leg. He probably knows it and can, get us a book or something. He's a noble. And we can read the shit out of it. Obsessively learn it. This is how you this is how you prepare for a performance, guys. You just read it over and over again really fast until you memorize it. Let me show. And then he teaches everyone how you memorize lines.
I suppose we can ask what we can go and talk to him or talk to the nobles and see since they need a knight.
All right, so you're on your way to see Sir Ulrich of Cornerstown?
Yes.
Or are you on your way to see Lord Rankburn?
I guess Sir Ulrich, so that he can tell us who his sponsors are. Or were.
Oh, sure. You can find him. He's it takes you a bit of looking, but you already did a great gather information check. You find a large caravan in the shape of a giant cask of ale, and a set of stools are set out in front of it, along with the 2-pint. And you can see him there with a 2-pint mug, his leg looking a little bit worse for the wear. And he grumbles and drinks his beer, looking disappointed.
You are Sir Ulfric von Lichtenstein, I mean, of Cobblestone?
No. I'm Sir Ulrich of Cornerstown.
Cornerstown. We've been looking for
it in her book.
We've been looking for you.
You've been looking for me.
Yes. We heard about your unfortunate accident.
I love that horse.
Well, you lost your horse. I hadn't heard that part. That's tragic. But
brilliant white stallion, founder wandering in the snowfields just to the west. I'd been out ice fishing on a cold winter. She was a wild one.
These are the makings of a song.
Sad end to a song. Rock slide. She died. Nothing to it. The sort of story someone would tell if they didn't much care for drama or timing.
Sad endings are most appropriate, however. He begins to pipe on the flute the haunting tune of exactly the same tune about the children, but this time the words are about the horse. Founder on a ice.
Maybe not here. Not now.
All right, Sir Ulrich cries.
Gunbold pats
It's okay, knows I'm
Sanael
good
on
now.
the neck. Well,
It would be.
it is
Well-
unfortunate that you will not be able to compete, but I have come from far to the south, and I relish the opportunity to test my might against the Knights of Nilfenberg. But I need a sponsor, it seems. If you cannot compete, I suppose that means your nobles are in need of a knight.
It would
It's true,
be.
the burgher of Corners Town does need a representative here, and I don't have my horse, and even if I had one, it should be another week before I should really be going for a hard ride. But an orc competing on behalf of Corners Town, you'd have to win, or it would be humiliating.
I assure you I will win.
He is quite a fierce one.
Sit down then and tell me the story of your greatest victory.
We play
Or
the
else.
tune of slaying the Etten, and we do the thing with the ice wolf pelt again. Give him another big fucking show.
No, we're not putting on a circus show.
All right.
Um,
What do you tell
Well,
him
at
is
least
tale
we've
of your
got the
greatest
pelt.
victory?
Ganbold doesn't tell them the story of the Ettins.
Good. It was a pretty silly story.
Yeah. Ganbold
Oh
tells...
yeah, we tell him a lie based on the story.
No.
And it was really scary, and we almost all died. But we didn't, because we were very brave and powerful.
I mean, we could tell the story of the Chimera.
Yes, I wouldn't say this because this would be a bad thing to say. Let's not tell him the story where my horse got set on fire and exploded.
Oh yeah.
No. Ganbold tells him a story that he hasn't told any of you before. When he was young, and he tells a story of when his clan was at war with another clan of orcs, and when he ran down the champion of another clan and fought them in single combat on the plains, and he tells him this was his first battle atop Sanael, his magical horse, which is here with him. And he tells how he knocked the other rider in the chest with his lance before coming around to finishing him off with the warhammer. And he tells of how his clan was victorious that day and crushed their enemies.
Seems to think that's a worthy story. Well, you might make a good enough champion not to embarrass us too badly, and if it does go really badly, at least I'm drunk and I can always fall back on that. But I've got some other bad news. My bard didn't make it either.
Everything
one.
fell apart.
We have one. in
Ganbold
case you
just
have not
looks at
noticed.
Ogle and says, I think we can make something work.
Wait. Is your bard an elf?
It's not against the rules, is it?
No, but the Rankburns became famous defending against an army of elves trying to make it through the gap of Rankburn.
Oh wait, do I recognize that story now?
You can roll history again with advantage.
Okay.
It's a good thing you had advantage. Oh yeah, you remember that one now.
Yeah,
They don't
dude,
talk about it
you-
much in the Elven clans, and certainly you don't remember anything about a battle that the elves lost.
Yeah.
You know, the humans had been slashing and burning woods, and you drove them back to the mountains and made your way
Yeah.
back home to the Greyflower Woods. But apparently they remember it as them defeating you and driving you back to the woods.
Well, I suppose I can embellish some aspects of it. Do you have an account of this particular battle that I could?
Not a good one, but Cornerstown doesn't go first. You'll be able to listen to some of the other ones, but you'll need to listen carefully. You'll need to listen for remembering all of the details, trying to figure out which one the Lord of Rankburn Castle liked, and how to tell them well.
Okay.
I'm not the GM, but if I was, if Hoggle were to get up there and then tell the Elven story version of the story, I would give you disadvantage on the check, but I would give you inspiration.
Yes.
That seems suitable.
Oh God! But then I'd be banished from cobblestone forever.
Well, we don't even know
Cornerstown.
Cornerstown. We don't even know where that is on the map yet, so you know.
We're gonna
It's in the
accidentally
top
pass
right.
through it.
Oh yeah,
Sad.
there
Oh.
it is.
Those bastards.
We're unlikely to need to go there.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's like it's past all the landmarks.
Mhm.
Wow, Cornerstown sucks. Oh wait, we
Don't
need
worry,
to hire.
that's probably where the the Cthulhu fish people cult is.
Right.
You know, out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's a perfect place to do, you know, the fish people adventure that is republished, that is copied in every single.
Who would
RPG
suspect a priest famous for living in non-Euclidean geometry to be from a town named Cornerstown?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There are too many corners. Too many corners in Cornerstown.
Oh, that might be an interesting way to play that. All right, we'll have to remember that. We'll have to come up with a reason you have to go to Cornerstown later.
Yes.
Gambled. They accidentally transferred your dry cleaning to Cornerstown.
How the hell did they do that? That would be like a massive fuck up. Of epic
Everybody was just doing what they were told. I don't know.
That's good. You can find our party ranger. He's somewhere, or she's somewhere in the fair. Her name is Delilah, I think. Yeah, that was it. We picked her up. She's not from Cornerstown. We met in Bolstad. She's gonna help us avoid rock falls in the mountain. That didn't really work out, but should let her know that we won't be leaving for the tournament after all. But she's half elven, I think. Probably sabotaged us on purpose. See if you can find her. Green hair.
So,
That should stick out.
yes. Okay, so it turns out that it won't be as much of a problem if I sabotage the story as regards getting a ranger.
Yes, we should probably poach this ranger for our party. We should talk to them.
All right. I'm going to call a quick break to get myself a pop, and then when we get back, we will roll to find Delilah.
Okay, I'm gonna go get a drink as well. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Me too. Bye.
All right. So it would seem that there are more competitions going on here than initially met your eye. A number of pavilions are set up, impromptu contests, and a variety of activities. Some carnival games like bobbing for apples or ring tosses. Others, demonstrations of magical skill or feats, although these are less competitive and more spectacle. Lastly, there seems to be an archery range where people are invited to do 20 arrows and have a score kept, with the winner earning a small prize at the end of the fair. It's there that you find Delilah taking slow and careful aim, taking her time, lining up a shot.
What's that thing she's using?
Seems to be some sort of longbow.
Weird.
We will wait and watch for her to complete her set of arrows.
She misses hitting the outer ring on one of her shots. She seems to be taking her time, slowly examining an arrow, docking it to get ready. You have plenty of time, though, if you just want to wait for her to be done.
Is she incredibly beautiful?
No, she is thoroughly
Okay.
average,
Okay.
as well as with her bow. But soon enough, her sets are done. She's leaving the tournament grounds, realizing that she's probably not going to need to check on the leaderboard later.
Go talk to her, Ogle.
Oh, okay. Ogle waves at her.
Roll
Twice.
insight.
Okay.
She doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Oh, okay. Well, I better go get her attention then. Walk up to her. Hello, are you Delilah?
Yes, she said skeptically, looking Ogle up and down.
He's beautiful. We were... crap, what's that guy's name?
Ulrich?
Yeah, my friends and I spoke to Ulrich a while ago that
Ah.
he's looking for performers, and we've volunteered to perform for him. And that he will not be immediately needing to leave. However,
You're a
af-
messenger. All right,
Huh? Oh, no, I'm the bard.
you're the bard.
Yes.
You're going to tell the tale of the heroic defeat of the elven armies.
They didn't win? What? We made them. I have to listen to some other performances first, and then I'll figure out what's going on. After that, if he's not interested in leaving, I hoped maybe. Well, let's talk to Ganbold over here. We're doing some traveling ourselves. You see.
Ganbold.
That was his grunt over there.
Ganbold hears his name and comes over to join the conversation.
An orc. Well, at least an orcish bard might get the story, right? Are you a traveling bard company?
I am not a bard. I am a warrior. Warrior of Grumsh. I am here to fight and compete and to win.
She smirked and broke out laughing. So, Sir Ulrich has hired an orc to represent the farthest north farthest from the orc city in all of the Empire, and an elf to tell the story of the mighty defeat of the elves.
It's very progressive casting.
So it seems he has.
Look, lady, he's got money, okay? Oh, I'm
Well-
sorry, I broke in character. I mean, well, you...
However this tournament goes, we have business in the mountains to the south. I've been told that you were a guide, and we are in need of someone who can get us through the mountains without us getting lost.
I bid you caution. In the Bowl Mountains, they say, an ancient dwarf hold near Der Boulder was attacked and taken over by an army of the dead.
Indeed.
It's a cursed and fell place now. What
Yes.
business brings you there?
We need to go to there, to near the boulder.
You need to go to near Der Boulder, and you want me to take you.
Yes. We're willing to pay you.
Did Sir Ulrich hire you to kill me for his horse dying?
Ma'am, if I wanted to kill you, you would be dead by now.
Then you're an even worse strategist than I thought.
Ogle slaps his knee.
Well, I can take you to the edge of the city. We'll have to be careful. I've heard rumors that the Mountain Lord has been moving Giants Field, but it shouldn't be too difficult if you are truly mighty warriors. And if you win the competition, I'm sure you'll be able to afford a suitable danger fee for me to be willing to take you to that damned place.
And then after I win the tournament, we will find you again.
Oh, I'll be watching. One way or another, this is going to be a sight to remember.
I hope so. I look forward to embarrassing those prissy, soft Nilfin knights in their homeland.
Got played now.
So do I.
Again with those masterful strategies. Good luck.
Gamble heads off.
She wished us good luck. She wants us to win.
She doesn't
So-
think we will. We will prove her wrong.
You have a few days here in the fair before the jousting kicks off the main bulk of the tournament. Knights are still arriving from farther afield.
During this time, Ganbold will need to talk to Ulrich and make sure he's perfectly clear on the rules of the melee and the joust.
Well, the joust consists of 3 rounds and is a competition of skill. Both you and the other knights will be attempting to unmount the other. There are 3 rounds after which there should be sorry, not 3 rounds. There should be 5 rounds after which you'll be paired against a final opponent. From there, you will be awarded a number of points depending on your ranking, and face off against duelists from the opposite end of the ranking in a series of one-on-one competitions over the next several days. after which, which will be interrupted only in part by the telling of the tales. After which, the top 8 candidates will proceed in a 3-round competition, single round elimination.
Bolt's head is spinning. Very complicated, but I will do what we can. So, I suppose my follow-up question is, how is spellcasting treated? And I believe the common word for it is paladin. I can call upon the power of my gods to imbue myself with protection and enhance my weapons. Are such tactics legal?
No. To pray that the gods miscategorize, to pray to be miscategorized by Primus would be a most blasphemous thing. Such a tournament is about proving who is strongest, not who can best beg for the aid of someone stronger than them.
So it's okay if you're a wizard.
Wizards are not permitted to participate. There's a magical duel on the side, but Lord Rankburn's family weren't wizards, they were horse lords.
Ganbold is disappointed he won't be able to use his Armor of Agathis and Wrathful Smites to dominate the competition, but very well.
It is you who so desperately wanted to fight.
He still does.
All right. So, anything you guys want to do before the kickoff of the joust?
Do they do this every year?
They do this every 5 years.
Every 5 years, okay.
Mm-hmm. Ganbold will, during the time before, we'll see about if Ulrich has the barding from his late horse, and if it can be fitted to Sanael.
Yes, that should be possible. You can wear Cornerstown nightly barding. Sanael hates it.
It is our sponsor, and I do not have barding for Sanael, so
you will
but a horse died in this, buried alive.
You will restrain your wild spirit and wear these markers of servitude.
I can't even see.
He is our sponsor, and we will do as he wishes. 110%.
How is any horse supposed to fight in this armor?
It's to protect your eyes from the shards of the lances. They're designed to break. I know, it seems strange, but it's how they do this competition.
They don't kill all of their best warriors during training?
No, because unlike where you're from, they don't come back the next day here.
That's horrifying!
Exactly.
Why would anyone fight if it was like that?
Don't think too much about it.
Where I come from is a place of safety and ease and joy.
I mean, constant war, but also
consequenceless battle. It's all fun and games. I'm not what I think I am. I I can't be a horse anymore, Gamble. It turns into a rabbit.
No, you're not a familiar. You're a magical steed. If you have to be a rabbit, you have to be a giant rabbit.
I'm a fairy, Gamble.
No!
I'm a fairy. It's all about my confidence.
Gamble spends the rest of the day trying to give his horse therapy. So it's a horse again.
Okay.
Ogle's
They
gonna.
stop bringing you beer at some point during that process. People begin to speculate whether cheese has psychoactive property on orcs. But anyone else from the other two?
Ogle goes and
It wasn't
talks
the cheese,
to.
it was the maple syrup.
Ogle goes and talks to. If he finds any non-humans who appear to actually live here, he asks them about the last festival. What kind of experience the storytelling was, because he's heard that it was pretty impressive. He's trying to scope out his competition, like if there's a dwarven storekeeper or something. Failing that, he asks like some random teenagers.
The teenagers tell you that it was the greatest story they'd ever heard. That they spent months afterwards playing out the parts of it, fighting with wooden swords.
He wishes to engage in playing out the parts of it with these teens with wooden swords like they're children again, because to him, they are children.
All right, roll insight.
All right.
Ogle, you get wind up being chased around the fair by 30 kids with wooden swords.
This is going to be valuable for my performance.
Eventually, you find a place to hide inside the giant cask of ale cart.
All right.
You still hear kids occasionally shouting, "Where's the elf? Get the elf!"
He notes this down in his research.
At least you avoided getting hate crimed to death by 30 sticks.
Oh, it's fine. I've got hit points.
Well, it is just a fair. What about the other paladin or the wizard?
Right. Being a noble Steinigan is going to just try and get a couple audiences and try his best to smooth this disaster over before it becomes a disaster.
That seems like a really good plan. Why don't you go ahead and make me your persuasion check?
Well, I can't possibly roll a 1.
All right. You're able to arrange a room at an inn that you can stay at. Most of the rest of these people are going to have to camp outside and live like poor people, but you could spend 2 gold a day to stay in a real proper noble's room in an inn full of other important nobles. This may be necessary to complete your work. Do you do this?
Yes, I will do so. That seems important.
All right. Various knights and their entourages seem curious and delighted that the dwarves of the Galata Peaks are now celebrating their famous victory over the elves and the foundation of the Rankburn dynasty. They seem curious as to what you're doing here, but amenable to the idea that Cornerstown, because of their accident, is allowing you to participate in their name. And you get the impression that that your performance won't be held against Cornerstown, or really even you. They get the idea that it's your first time, and the fact that you're here at all, even with an orc, is kind of special.
Forgive the elf for the performance that he might give. This was a very rushed sort of thing, and we want to do the best we can. He's currently learning all he can about your culture, but he is. It may be a good thing, but he is a terrible elf.
Terrible as in fearsome?
Terrible as in he got us lost multiple times on our way here. In the forest.
All right. The interrupts in laughter, and they ask for more tales of Ogle's ineptitude.
I will regale them with slightly exaggerated stories of the embarrassing elf. Because I feel like making him into a comedy routine might be the best way to assuage any damage he could possibly do to our reputation.
Yeah, I'll buy that. If he does a terrible job, you're pretty sure all of the nobles will laugh and someone will lean in and explain to Lord Rankburn that the elf is a buffoon and you're supposed to laugh at his terrible storytelling. So your position here now relatively safe from being torch-bearing mobs. You spend the rest of your time. Does Creador have anything that Ulfgar would like to add?
Well, you did mention something about wizard stuff going on at the same time. Wizard
Yes, it's sort of an exposition. There's a degree to which it's competitive.
Well, he's gonna look into that some, see if it's something of interest.
All right. It's basically a show, and at the end of the show, the judges will be awarding small prizes for the most interesting spell, the most creative use of the spell, the most powerful spell, and the most improved spellcaster from last competition.
Interesting. I mean, he'd probably be interested in trying his luck at it.
All right. What spell will you enter into the tournament?
I think that he could make the most out of Melf's minute meteors.
It's an interesting spell. What do you plan to do with it?
Sort of a light show with the meteors. Right, they I know it's sort of limited control, but he can still control them to some degree. They've got pretty long reach and they're very showy. And it's a little bit more unique than the classic fireball or whatever. It has a little bit more longevity than, for instance, his Misty Step or something like that.
It certainly does. So, how do you plan to? You just plan to, send some out, blow up, make some explosions in the sky, have people go ooh and ah?
If it's possible, I was thinking of the fire dancer type shit.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Right? Spinning them around and hopefully not maiming himself in the process.
All right, roll performance to not maim yourself in the process.
Oh, shit.
But you may use dex. This should be dexterity modified by any performance-related abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So am I rolling? What am I rolling?
Dexterity, and if you're proficient in performance, add your proficiency.
I am not.
Well, you don't light your beard on fire,
That's something.
but your dance doesn't add much to the spectacle of the explosions either.
Ah, well. I'll take the wash.
Overall, people are still very impressed, and you think you might well be a contender for most powerful spell.
Nice. Thank you, Archmage.
Yes, if he came to compete, he would win every time, but he can't be bothered. As you're walking away, people are calling you like a dwarven Lucas Dietrichstein. None of them seem to know who that is, but apparently it's a word a name they associate with wizardry.
Fair enough. He'll gladly take it as a compliment.
All right. So the next
Lucas
morning,
would be
finally,
very disappointed to find out his name is being associated with wizardry and not the noble art of cartography.
and yet he's famous for awakening a god, defeating an army of undead, and traveling to Mechanus to destroy an ancient relic. Despite his best intentions, he's famous as a wizard.
Yes. But I also mapped the fever swamp.
Sort of.
Sort of, mostly. Like
Kinda.
3/4 of it.
Like a
Relatively spotty map, really.
It has the most important landmarks, like where I awoke an ancient god. And, the
I don't
village
think he
where the
actually
people are.
included that one on the map.
Oh, yeah.
So just the villages and
And that oracle
you're not
that we
supposed to go
probably
to.
shouldn't tell him about the oracle. Never mind. Erase that one.
There's
a very bad tree over here, and some fairies you shouldn't mess with.
Yes. Don't visit any of these hexes. In fact, there are hags there. Don't stay in Milfenburg.
Yeah, really, like this whole place, it's bad. It's a mistake.
All right. So
Calling us some fools.
you are starting up the joust. Knights are coming at each other one at a time. Next, we have the mercenary Ganbold, the orc, representing the village of Cornerstown.
Is this right?
Against Sir Harren of Haslock. Or Haslock.
And Will rides out.
Yeah.
He's holding his lance in the air. He's trying to look. He's in his full plate, his black, plate armor. His cloak.
He waves at the children.
Cloak of protection around his shoulders.
He lifts his visor to wink at the women.
Yes. He has a 16 charisma. He's incredibly charming.
All right. They seem to go with it, despite being confused about going with it.
Yes. And he
orcs. They're not at all like the stories.
And he rides his unicorn over to the start of the starting position, and is ready to joust.
All right. Make an attack roll.
All right. 26.
Against a 19. You break your lance against the other knight and score a point. Two of you turn. Prepare to face off again. Comes charging towards you. Go charging towards him. Make another attack roll.
17.
Oof. You catch him clear in the chest and lift him free of his horse. You carry him towards the end of all the way to the end of the jousting run, before he goes hurling back into the crowd. People gasp and cheer. A roar goes out. There's stomping and banging on wooden grandstands, and you have taken the first round.
Gamble shakes his lance in the air and rides in a circle and celebrates his victory before he clears the field for the next jousters.
The joust goes on for several hours before Ganbold is going to be up again. Lances break, knights are unmounted. Peasantry watches on and off.
Gambold watches. He's trying to suss out his competition, trying to see who is his biggest threat and how to beat him.
Make me a wisdom roll modified by your proficiency bonus.
Okay. So wisdom plus proficiency?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just roll survival because I have proficiency in that. That's wisdom. So 21.
All right. By far your biggest competition is Areneolus, a prince of the Windy Sea. Other important competitors include the a knight, a veteran of the Battle of Rousback, Sir Gareth of Rosebach. Sorry, I forgot to write his name down, so I'm trying to remember them.
Which one is Ganbold expecting to have to joust next or first?
Gamble doesn't seem to have any jousts against any of the major competitors. He seems to be up against other knights that he expects to have a fairly easy time against.
Then for now he remembers those names, but prepares himself for his next matches.
The last of the knights that seems to be worthier of your intention would be a woman, Lady Errol of Elmnook. She wears brilliant green armor and a flowing cloak.
Gamble will keep a close eye on her as well.
Elmnook was the town where they were told to move along and they swore to never go back to? Okay.
Yes, it was. He must defeat her twice as hard then.
All right. The subsequent jousts go relatively well for you. You're fairly certain that you're well placed for the sparring. Your first opponent in the sparring is a young knight from one of the nearby villages. You didn't quite catch the name of it. Most of the villages on the map don't even bother with the name. He's dressed in his armor and seems prepared to face you. Never thought I would meet an orc in such honorable combat. It's interesting. Your people are more civilized than we give credit for.
We have our own ways of doing things, but
You people.
But you will find that we are not as soft as you Northerners.
Well, I've slain many an orc in my time, as I'm sure you've slain many humans.
I've slain more orcs than humans, to be honest.
I As have I, but such is the way of southern lands, is it not?
It is.
I
I look
bid you
forward
good
to meeting you
fortune.
on the battlefield one day.
We're meeting now. May
In
we be
manner of fashion.
categorized correctly. He lowers his visor and draws sword.
May the strongest win.
All right, roll initiative.
Initiative. 13.
All right, you go first.
All right. Ganbold charges in with his weapon.
All right, that is a hit.
I hope a 24 is a hit. So, 8 bludgeoning. Followed immediately by 9 more. Extra attack.
All right, you batter and clank against his armor. He swings his greatsword. Misses. But he swings again with a hefty backswing. Does a 20 hit.
Was I allowed to wear my cloak of protection?
Yes.
Then my cloak of protection protects.
Agile, unexpected, orc, he says.
Years of experience. That was a good swing, though.
Is that a hit? He parries the second blow.
Alright. But the first one deals 9.
He tries to follow up with a thrust.
Oh, he gets me.
12 damage. He steps and lifts his blade, trying to cut across your chest plate.
21 hits.
A pair of savage blows have landed. It's your turn.
Subtracting 11 more hit points. Alright. I really gotta take that dip into fighter. Second win would be nice right now.
Action surge would be pretty great too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, should I be doing the night part, and you can do the performance because people like Ganfold?
Well, you are the fighter, but and
You
I'm cut off from using my most potent abilities due to
You-
the rules.
You would make a perfect heal here.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see. All of my options would be categorized as magic, I guess. So there's really nothing to do for it except to attack.
It's another hit.
Ooh. Okay, crit. Also, that's not counting my savage attacks die. So I need one more D8.
All right, and a powerful blow. You lift him from the ground by beneath his chin. He flies through the air and collapses unconscious. Trumpeters play, and you were declared the winner of this bout as well.
His head falls off.
Ganbold walks over to his defeated foe, and offers him a hand up.
He is pretty out cold.
Oh, in that case, he kneels down, puts a hand to his chest, says, "Get up." And I'm gonna lay of hands a point of healing into him.
Oh, you hit like a griffin.
I've killed a griffin. A couple. Ganbold picks him up. I think they hit harder.
Not in my experience. A worthy battle. Strange that you would be participating here, but not unwelcome. Would seem we have much to prepare for if we're to meet your people in battle.
I am not the strongest of my people, I assure you.
Nor am I.
I hope we meet again one day.
Perhaps we
on
shall.
A field of real battle. I look forward to it.
He goes off to meet with his own people. The rest of your battles go much the same. You're quickly rising into the top contender slots. We are coming up on 7 o'clock, though, and so it would appear that Sala will have at least a week to figure out how best to mess up this tale.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I hope I can use the children.
Off to a fantastic start, Sala.
Yes.
Terrifying.
Anyway, the final set of competitions will be against the major NPCs. You're likely to fight against those 3 rivals, so should be fun. Until then,
thank you for running.